So I'm from Kyiv. I was born there and raised as well. Before I was 21, I've never been abroad, so 21 years I lived in Kyiv. My mom and dad are Russian speaking, but my grandmother was Ukrainian speaking. So, and she even was singing Ukrainian songs on the radio. And then my grandma would speak both, but through the Soviet Union Russification, then my mom was speaking Russian and my dad as well. But I learned Ukrainian in school, and I turned out to be bilingual by now, so I can speak both Russian and Ukrainian perfectly. So I went through this I studied too much, I have too many degrees and too much academia went through my life, and now I'm changing my life. But one effort on that was me running a YouTube channel for Ukrainians for the last 2 years. So the topic of my channel was sharing Ukrainian culture with Americans. So I have 130,000 followers by now. So I would stop people and say, guess from which country is this song? So I would give them some Ukrainian song to listen, and then after they guess or not guess, in most cases they don't guess, I would ask, what do you know about Ukraine? What's the capital of Ukraine? And have you heard of what's going on between Russia and Ukraine? So I've seen that my subscribers paid a lot of attention to the fact that it's very important to raise awareness that Russia has invaded Ukraine, because this has been going on for 8 years, but the world were not very worried about what's happening, and they didn't understand that it can escalate. But many Ukrainians did understand that, but they were powerless, they didn't know what to do. So that channel was trying a little bit to accomplish that. So Gavin was one of the people on my channel as well who did a lot of reactions, whose videos get over 100,000 views on my channel.
First time cameraman though.
No cameraman. And another goal that I was trying to achieve, which only came to me later, is that many Ukrainians, because of these oppressions throughout the history, we have the word in Ukrainian for that, but it's called undervaluation of themselves. They didn't feel they are valued enough, they're interesting enough to the world, that their culture is interesting and important. It's almost like they're shy about who they are, because this historical thing. And I felt that by promoting Ukrainian culture among Americans and making the most powerful people from the most powerful country to look at Ukrainian music, history, and dancing, I would make them feel that they are interesting. And because from what many of my subscribers write me, that by watching my videos were therapeutical to them, because it's suddenly they feel that they matter for outside of the country, outside of Ukraine, because many Ukrainians do have this feeling that we don't matter, because if we are being our culture being killed, you think, oh, no one cares about us. And I hope that I contributed with these videos to helping Ukrainians to have this spirit that they are important and powerful, and maybe right now for them to feel united, that we have to fight for the freedom, we don't have to give up and to give in our territory to Russia. That we are unique own thing that deserves for existence, deserves to be independent, deserves to be valued, just a human being. I think of countries as human beings. Everyone deserves to be respected, everyone has something important to say, everyone is unique, and we don't want to say someone, shut up, you're not interesting, don't talk, stay somewhere in the corner, and I will beat you occasionally, when you try to talk. So we don't want that. Many of my followers write me every day. I get over 30 messages from different people, and from the first days, it's been shocking. And I try to be helpful by there's different types. In the beginning, people are don't believe that's happening. And I think in the beginning, I tried the first days, I try to say, like, to women with kids that maybe it's important for you to leave, because they were like, should we leave or not? And that's a big thing, and they don't know how serious it is. So I was trying to say, so it's very important for you now to save your children. That's the future of Ukraine. You and your children are important, so better safety is very important. Don't be afraid, there will be volunteers, and I knew that there are volunteers and like chances to stay, and I tried to get them in touch. So I got all the like contacts from different countries, like Telegram groups. I mean, that when it all started to appear, and tried to like tell them, okay, here is a phone number, here's a Telegram group, here's a Facebook right here. So apparently, like on Facebook, there are groups of Ukrainians in different countries, like Ukrainians in Poland, Ukrainians in Hungary, in Switzerland, in anywhere. So if you join that group, there were a bunch of useful messages. And then after people were seeing that, they were like, had this comforting feeling, okay, we are confident that if we go there, there's someone will like take us or like give us a place to stay, or we won't be left like on the road. But still, you know, it's it takes an effort. I mean, even my parents, it took them 1 week there in Kiev, so it took them 1 week to be psychologically ready to leave Kiev and to be like, okay, now we are ready to take on this effort. It's dangerous enough for us. And I did have, several Skype conversations with my parents where I heard bombing, and I would be doing screen recording of our conversation, because I thought maybe this is my last conversation with them, and like at least I'll have a recording of that. But they were able to escape now. My parents are in Switzerland, in a small village. Relatives of my ex-boyfriend in Switzerland helped me to host my parents. And now I continue to try to be helpful from informational standpoint, and it's different things. It's from psychologically, like to process that psychologically is hard. And like I myself, I went through through the several days of being paralyzed physically and not being able to eat or like to even take shower, and like desperate, and especially like in the big first days, you like don't know where is it going, like this nuclear threats, because the Chernobyl and Zaporizhia atomic area. But then I think I came to think that Putin wants people to feel desperate. I mean, a part of what he wants, and he wants people to suffer, and he already made many people suffer. And I thought that I don't want to make his dream come true, at least for myself, that if I, being desperate and suffer and like unhappy with my life, then I fulfill one of his goals, and I want to make sure that his dream doesn't come true. So I thought I have to be as optimistic as I can, as positive as I can, and to be useful with what I can do to other Ukrainians. So that's what I've been trying to do, and I think of that of like the positives of the war that I found for me or for Ukraine is that main goal of my channel was that now everyone knows about Ukraine. Okay, everyone knows what's going on in Ukraine, that Ukraine exists, Ukrainian language exists. Everyone knows the capital of Ukraine, maybe Carpathian Mountains, or like what happened with Crimea, and Ukraine turns in a sort of brand. I mean, thanks to this, like many people around the world I see there admire Ukrainians for how strong they are, and I can feel that this undervaluation that Ukrainians felt, it's being killed right now. Ukrainians like, wow, we are surprised how strong we turned out, like to be able to withstand such a huge against this country, and the whole world supports Ukraine. So we feel finally the world is taking what's happening seriously. Maybe not enough in some respects, and that there can be more support, but the true Ukrainian nation, the nation that is proud of itself and proud to talk Ukrainian, proud of its own culture, is being born in the last months, and that's amazing for me to see. I see many Russian-speaking Ukrainian changing and starting to speak Ukrainian, like many people who are social media active or have YouTube channels. most of them have changed and like now switch to Ukrainian, and before they were like not doing that. So that's the positive, and I do believe that after we win, after the war is over, we will get support from the world. I mean that all the signs of that I see, and that we will rebuild Ukraine, and we will have a lot of attention from the tourists around the world who will be, you know, interested to come and see, and maybe to get inspired from Ukrainians for how strong they were. And I hope Ukraine will also show the rest of the world that we have to kill the tyranny and you know, narcissistic, selfish leaders who wanna do stuff only which praises them and their power. We have to show that they don't have to exist on this planet, that democracy and like listening to what we ordinary people want is important. That was longer than I thought, but